And it's time for the Barry Foster Show. We're going to do another Florida fun travel. Sandra and I travel around the Sunshine State looking for fun and frivolity. And we decided to spend our anniversary in a little day trip. Went out to beautiful Vero Beach for some fun, some eating, some shopping. And we like to go to Vero Beach. It's pretty close, and there's a lot of fun things to do there.
Well, we've never been there when we didn't find something we enjoyed.
We'd like to first thank Sister Judy and brother-in-law Charles for a gift card that they gave us. So we had breakfast over at First Watch, and we've eaten a lot of places over there at the Route 66 restaurant. We've eaten over there at the Mrs. Max Filler Up Cafe. But when we want to go to a place we know it's always going to be good, we go to First Watch, and this was no exception.
I love their avocado toast, and Barry likes their omelet.
Yeah, they don't have my farm omelet anymore. I have to get the works omelet now, but the coffee is always good. They pay a lot more attention than a lot of places, the stuff they have, and I have the idea that the natural ingredients are a lot better when you have breakfast over there. They
also have a lot of selections of hot tea, and will serve it with lemon and honey if you like it that way.
That's my wife's favorite is the hot tea. There's always good service over there, and we've been there so much you kind of already know your way around. It's a nice ambiance when you eat at the restaurant, and we started with a good filling breakfast before we went out shopping, and we found a lot of fun things. You can find a lot of fun things shopping out there. I think you got me some shirts out there. We looked for shirts. We found some bric-a-brac. We found some. We went hither and yon looking for stuff, and they have a lot of places, that they don't have where we live to go shopping.
Well, they have a lot of little shops that it's fun to just go in and look and see what they have. A lot of beach wear, a lot of beach interior things, a lot of cute stuff, a lot of ideas.
Yeah, where we live, we are equidistant between the Gulf of America and the Atlantic Ocean. And Vero Beach is right down there in the Atlantic. It takes us maybe an hour and a half to get out there, and we enjoy the Atlantic. So one thing we did is we went to Waldo's famous cafe for lunch, and we can sit right out there on the deck at Waldo's and enjoy a great lunch and watch. There's not as much ocean traffic on the Atlantic side as there is on the Gulf side, but still it's fun to have the ocean breezes blowing. And I usually have the Pittsburgher when I go there, and I asked him, I said, "You have a Pittsburgher?" And apparently one of the owners grew up in Pittsburgh, so they made a great hamburger sandwich that they call the Pittsburgher. Comes with all the dags, and so it's nice to sit out there on the deck and kind of just enjoy the sea breezes.
As far as food's concerned, I usually choose the nachos, and it's way more than one person can eat. And I love their iced tea. But the thing I like most about it, that I think is the cutest thing, is that they have a sign there that says, "All guests must be approved by their cat." And they do have a couple of really cute little cats that mind their own business and just enjoy their little plates of treats that the restaurant keeps available for them. But they are very sweet and very friendly. I was able to go over and get approved, get them to kind of smell me out and decide that I was okay and come over.
We hunted them down and found the cats. One thing that did happen while we were there, which I thought was pretty cool, was 3 big military helicopters came churning by, and they were pretty low to the ground, pretty low, actually over the water. So there was a little bit of entertainment for us as we sat there beachside and enjoyed our lunch.
Of course, you have the option of eating inside, and I think one time when we were there, we ate in the sheltered area simply because it was raining and cold, and we were there with other people. But usually, even in the hottest days of summer, you can eat out under the umbrellas on the ocean side, and there's a little breeze, and it's not too bad at all, especially with a glass of iced tea.
The day we were there, the wind was blowing a little bit, and they had taken the umbrellas in off the actual front row over the ocean, and so but we sat the second row back, but it was still plenty nice, and there were some folks out on the beach, and it's nice to sit out by the water and have a little something to eat. I can tell you that we have a place that we go when we stay overnight, which is right on the beach, called the Prestige Hotel, and that is a wonderful place to stay.
Well, it's one of those dated places, been there a lot of years. The big thing about it is that they have 4-story oceanfront rooms that are just fabulous. It's close enough you can actually hear the ocean waves if you open the sliding glass and sit out there on the balcony. But there is no elevator to go up, but it is well worth the struggle to pull your suitcase upstairs to be on the top floor. Even though we're old, we do enjoy sitting out on the balcony on the top floor.
If you go to Florida Fun Travel, not only can you see the Waldo's where we had eaten once upon a time, but you can also see the Prestige Hotel where we stayed oceanfront on the top floor. And as Sandra says, it's wonderful to it's wonderful to sit out there and just listen to the ocean. She was reading a book. I was just surfing my social media, but you sit out there. There's palm trees out there. In fact, the time we were there, they had some coconuts in the palms. They did not fall. I was kind of hoping to get a coconut out of the palm trees, but they did not fall at that time.
The other nice thing is that you have a little kitchenette that's pretty well stocked for whatever you need to have a simple meal there. Of course, we always love the restaurants, 2J's and some of the other places that we have been so many times that we'll usually have lunch out, but then we'll bring back to the room something for breakfast and something for dinner sitting out on the balcony.
Yeah, it's a nice place to stay. And one time we were staying, we did not get the ocean view. Not every room there has an ocean view. But I was checking my social media, and I found that within 2 minutes they were going to have a rocket launch. So we quickly threw our comfies on and ran downstairs and went out into the patio area and watched them launch a rocket. And it was one of the better launches that we'd seen, because where we are in Highlands County, we can see a launch, but this was a lot closer to the Cape to see it go off. And in fact, I don't think that some of the people who were sitting out on the veranda knew that it was coming. And we really had a better look because we were down on the ground and could look directly north and watch the launch go off. So it was a fun time to see that happen. And the other thing is the Prestige, if you want to go, has a lot of infrastructure. Like if you want to rent a chaise lounge or a beach chair, deck chair, you can carry it down to the ocean down there and sit and just enjoy the day.
Well, you don't have to rent it. It's free. Mm-hmm. You just check out, and they have, of course, the beach towels and things. They have a nice swimming pool. The other thing, though, you might need to remember that we found out, it is listed on their material that they give you when you're booking a room, but it's a no smoking anywhere on the property. And we were going there with friends who smoke, and that ended up being an issue. So they ended up not staying at the Prestige, but going across the street to a very nice retro place. But for us, because we're non-smokers, it's always been everything we like. And they have breakfast down in the little area, and it's a fairly decent breakfast.
Oh, yeah, they have fruit, and they have cereals. And, I mean, there's a nice little area where you can sit and eat. And they have a little covered patio out there to the side, which it's all kind of in an older section of Vero. So you can sit out there on the patio, or you can take it back to your room, or just take it out to the front patio and sit there by the ocean and have a little something to eat. It's a great little place to stay.
It has gone up in price from the first times that we stayed there, which always breaks our heart when we find a place that we love and we go back several times, at a good price point, and then we find out that, of course, the economy the last couple of years has had a big increase for almost everything that we do. So it's no surprising that these hotels and motels and places have to go up on their prices as well.
Well, apparently we aren't the only ones who've discovered this place. A lot of other folks have found it. While we were there, there's a couple of places that while you're down there, if you would like to go, I would recommend. One is McKee Botanical Gardens. We went, and the time we were there, they had a theme of flip-flops, but it's a fairly small botanical garden. It used to be a lot bigger, but apparently in the 1970s or 1980s, they sold a bunch of it off to become condos, but they have retained a small part. And one of the most interesting things is they have taken tree saplings and made giant wicker structures as you walk through. You can actually walk through them there. It's an interesting place to go and enjoy South Florida. It really is.
It's a very nice, cool walk, and it's varied as you go through. You begin to see a lot of different things, and it's just a nice way to spend a morning or an afternoon.
Yeah, they had, as you walk in, there's a big archway over a walkway, and you walk on in, and it's much cooler when you get inside. When you get in there, you can really kind of get the shade. So even in the heat of the day, it's really not that hot. There's also a big lodge there that we went into and looked in with these giant long tables. It had a real German kind of feel to it. If you wanted to go in there and have a party or have some kind of an event, you could do that in there as well.
I thought it had a real dated feel of like medieval times with all of the different long tables for banquets, and yes, it was really neat.
Yeah, we enjoyed McKee Gardens, and also there's the Indian River Citrus Museum. It was both fun and educational, and the time we were there, one of the directors was there, and she gave us kind of a guided tour through the whole thing, showed us all the old Indian River citrus memorabilia that was there. It was a very, very, and the best part for me was it didn't cost us anything. It was absolutely free to go in there.
It did have a lot of variety, and just some beautiful labels from all the different cartons of citrus that went out of that area, and it was amazing to see the variety in it and the artwork involved in the labels.
The thing is that the citrus industry is really kind of undergoing some serious problems, but I have now learned that perhaps the citrus industry may be making somewhat of a comeback, as they have found a varietal of sweet orange which is resistant to greening. It'll be a while. We talked to a citrus expert the other night asking about that. It'll be a while before we find out whether that's going to take or not.
Excuse me, but was that the Florida University that?
Yeah, the University of Florida.
Had, in their research, they had come up with this. But they also had a little gift shop there at the museum, which had a lot of neat little things that you could take back to your grandkids or to someone you wanted to take a little souvenir.
Well, there are things that I would still like to do. We didn't. The last time we were there, we had to pack up and go because there was rumors of a big storm that was coming, and it was going to be much. As we drive out of Vero Beach, we live to the north and west of Vero Beach, so it was a long trip back, and we had thought that there might be a big storm, so we left. But there was a place called Round Island Beach Park that is out there on the Atlantic that I had really wanted to stop by and see, maybe take a walk on the beach. My wife has this thing about she likes to walk on the beach.
It's good therapy for you mentally as well as physically. It's just so soothing. I do love walking on the beach.
Yeah, but I would have liked to have liked that. But the McClarty Treasure Museum is out there. At the east coast of Florida is littered with wrecks of ancient ships carrying gold and other treasures. and the McClarty Treasure Museum has a bunch of some of the booty that's been found by divers out there, and I'd really like to go there. And the Vero Beach Museum of Art is still there as well. Another thing that we have not yet had a chance. There's some other restaurants and shopping and things to do, but
There's another place that we stayed one time, and it's at a much lower price point. And at that time, it was really great. It would have been you had like a little living area and kitchenette and bedroom, and it would be a nice place for a little family to go that didn't cost an awful lot of money, and it was within walking distance of the park there on the ocean.
yes, that was the Sea Spray Inn, and we had made reservations. And I have to tell you, when I arrived, there was a sign in the parking area where we pulled up, and it said rooms by the day, by the week, or by the month. And I thought, oh my, had we made a mistake here? But we went up, but they were really almost like apartments. And I had thought, and there were people who obviously had been living there for a while. And I thought, well, but we went up on the roof. There was a roof viewing area where we had watched to go see the satellites that had gone over. And some other people were up there, and they said, "Are you up here to watch the satellites?" Yeah, we were. And so it turned out to be a pretty nice place. It was right next to South Beach. And if you had parked on the furthest end of the parking lot, you would have been right across the street from the parking lot of South Beach.
The place was as clean, and that's one of my big points is clean. It was as clean as an old place could be. Everything was painted and clean linens, and it was just nice and clean. And I had thought a family who wanted to go for a week or a month or whatever, at that price point, and I'm sure it's still probably a little bit less than some of the other places if you were going to stay for an extended time. They had a pool, and that viewing area at night, even if there was not going to be a launch of the satellites, you could see the stars, and it was just there were people out there playing board games, and it was just nice.
I hesitate to talk about some of these places because as we find them, the price points go up. The Prestige was one of them. We kind of splurged a little bit on our anniversary, but it was well worth it, you know. And in addition to being able to go down to the ocean and swim, the Prestige does have a small pool. And if you want to go just to kind of hang out in the pool all day, you can do that as well. It's an older property, but we kind of like the retro Florida older properties. And the beds were comfortable. The breakfast was good. The price point was right. And so, you know, and even the Sea Spray had its own pool. Had we decided that we're not pool people, but had we decided to go there, it would have been just as easy to go swimming there as it would go swimming in the I keep wanting to say the Gulf, in the Atlantic. So it's a lot of fun to go there. And there's still places in Vero that I would like to take a look at. But Vero is right along the East Coast, and if you go up north, you can stop in Stewart. And there's a Squid Lips. We've been to Squid Lips in all three locations now, in Cocoa, and actually Cocoa Beach, and also in Stewart, and then up in Melbourne. You can drive all the way up to Melbourne if you want to. So there are places all along the East Coast that Vero's a good jumping off point to go drive north or south down to Cocoa Beach and down that way if you'd like. So,
well, right across from Waldo's is a little line of restaurants and little shops that are neat little sandwich places. There's
Yes.
one called the Lemon Tree, I believe, and we've had a sandwich there. It's very nice. There's also a little ice cream shop down at the end that had muffins and cookies and ice cream.
right along Ocean Boulevard, they have all kinds of. There's a T-shirt shop, and there's a gift shops, and there's little tourist areas there. There's clothing shops and
Very high end.
yeah, it's very high end, and it's a lot of fun. And Vero, it involves a little bit of experimenting, a little bit of exploring. But the one thing that we did before we left Vero, is we stopped at another one of our favorite places, which is 2J's. And we had discovered 2J's when we went to the Garlic Festival down in Lake Worth, Florida. And it is the quintessential New York deli. I always they have the Reuben sandwich, but they have one with, they have one called the Rachel, which is not corned beef, but it's something else. But they also have a decadent bakery there, and we usually get breakfast muffins there. So we take those home. We have something for breakfast in the morning before we go for a walk on the beach.
But this time we got to-go sandwiches because the storm was supposed to be coming in, and we figured that we could get some of our favorite things and take them home and be back home in time to enjoy the sandwiches and the
And
fruits.
sadly, we drove all the way home, and we never had the first drop of rain. And we checked with someone who we know that goes to Vero Beach on a regular basis. They said the storm never came. We could have hung out there, and we could have gone to Roundtree. We could have gone several other places and been all right. But we didn't want to have to drive a long way through the rain. So, and another thing from where we go, and it's kind of a sad thing. Used to in Yeehaw Junction, there was a place called the Desert Inn. And it was a funky little place to stop. And we'd stopped there several times, and it was one of these places that has dollar bills stapled all over everywhere. And I had put Florida Fun Travel and stapled it on the wall, you know. And one time when I think we're down in Boca Raton, we had heard that somebody had driven a semi-truck in the fog, driven right into the place. And there was rumors they might rehab it. Right now, everything's been flattened. It's all gone like it was never there. And when we drive through, that's always a sad point for me. But I would tell you, I would recommend if you're looking for a fun place to go, I would say Vero Beach. You can, right now, if you go to Florida Fun Travel, you can find some of the places in Vero Beach that we have been for breakfast. There's First Watch. There's Mrs. Mac's Filler Up Cafe, which is a mom and pop shop that's it got a whole bunch of old gas station memorabilia on the walls, car themes. All the girls had car names. Our girl's name was Portia, and so we ate there. There's one called the Route 66, which had just moved to their new location the time that we ate there. But and of course, First Watch is a great place for breakfast. For lunch, we recommend Waldo's. 2J's is always good for lunch or dinner. So, and I would say you can do your own exploring and find out the shopping and all the things to do at Vero Beach.
Well, from Sebring and Avon Park, it's a day trip if you want to make it that. And especially in the summer, you can get there and not have to start out until daylight, and you can be back before dark.
And in the very near future, we're going to give you an update on Daytona Beach. We're headed that way in the near future, and we'll give you an update on what it's like to eat there and shop there. And we've also got a couple of restaurants, Cowpoke's Watering Hole. There's a pizza joint up in Mulberry. Some other things that we're going to talk about. Excuse me. But that's your look at Florida Fun Travel for Sandra Foster and Barry Foster. And we'll see you next time.